Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story, which comes from Charming Educator 612 from the True Off My Chest subreddit. Couple of warnings, it does contain homophobia and harassment, and coming back after I read the story, it does seem inconclusive as well. It seems like there might be further happening down the road, so we'll keep an eye out for that in the future. But if you do want to skip the story because of that, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are down in the description and along the timeline below. Let's get started. I accidentally caused a war between my family and my brother's wife's family with one innocent text message. So, my brother's wedding happened 2 days ago, and it turned into complete chaos, which I know even though I wasn't there. You might wonder why I didn't attend the wedding if it's my brother's. Well, it's because of his wife's family. He did send me an invitation to the wedding because he wanted me there, but his fiancée told him I couldn't attend because I had a boyfriend. You might be confused, but I'm a man, a bisexual man to be exact, and I have a boyfriend who I wanted to bring to the wedding. She said even though she doesn't have a problem with that, and he doesn't have a problem with that, her extremely religious parents, who already forced her to do the wedding in a church, would most likely banish us from the wedding and cause trouble between our families. After she told him that my brother told me I couldn't attend and told me why, you might think I was angry. The truth is, I was relieved. I hate going to big events with lots of people because of my social anxiety, and I already was used to not being able to attend certain events because of my sexuality, so it was nothing I haven't heard before. So at the day of the wedding, I stayed at home with my boyfriend. It's worth mentioning my parents apparently didn't know I wasn't attending the wedding. I was chilling at home, cuddling with my boyfriend when suddenly I got a text message from my parents asking me where I was because they couldn't find me at the wedding party. I told them I wasn't attending the wedding and if my brother hasn't told them anything. They said no and asked me what happened. I didn't see any reason to lie, so I sent them a text message telling them exactly why. I have to admit, I don't exactly know what happened after I sent them this message because they read it but didn't reply. And why do they care in the first place? They didn't notice I wasn't there before until the wedding was already over. They only noticed when the wedding party started. However, apparently my parents talked to my brother about it and all of a sudden my absence was the main topic of the wedding. From what I heard, two fronts formed. On the one hand, my parents and the rest of my family against the family of my brother's wife. And apparently, he as a husband now felt compelled to take her side and try to argue in her favor. It's crazy to think that I was just sitting at home living my best life with my boyfriend while all of that shit went down on his wedding. The wedding party was ruined and my brother appeared on my door angrily screaming at me why I felt the need to ruin his wedding. I was confused and asked him what happened and he told me everything. I told him it wasn't my intention. I just told our parents what happened because they didn't know and wanted to know where I was. I thought he told them beforehand. He screamed at me that I ruined his wedding. I told him it's not my fault, he wasn't honest with them. I just respected their wish to not attend the wedding. I didn't know it would go down like this because like I said, I couldn't attend several events before because of my sexuality. My parents never said anything about it, so I thought it would be the same thing here. But I gotta admit, it's kinda sweet that my parents and the rest of my family stood up for me. They haven't done it before. That's more than a welcome change. But I still feel kinda bad because apparently I really ruined the wedding party. You told your truth in this. You did absolutely nothing wrong in the slightest. As I said, you told the truth to your family about what's going on. You was asked not to attend. You didn't attend. You told people about it. They're the ones that's caused this issue. They're the ones that's ruined their wedding. This is on them. So fuck them. And we're starting the comments with your mum Infinity, who says you didn't do anything. You just explained the situation. Every action following that was a grown-ass adult choosing their own actions. That girl says you didn't ruin the party though, did you? You didn't turn up anyway and make a huge scene because you weren't allowed to bring the plus one of your choice. You were told you couldn't attend and why, and you didn't attend. This issue is with everyone else who, in 2023, still has problems with this stuff. Like who likes who. Well done to your parents for standing up for you. Some of us should be so lucky. Sensitive Medium says, I have a gay son and I would scorch the earth if anyone tried to leave him out of a family event or anything else because of his sexuality. I'd be really ashamed of my other kids if they let their partners do this. Rick Swifty says, you are a good person. Even though nothing of this is of your doing, You told the story as if you had a partial responsibility, which you don't. Your brother is a massive muppet, not inviting his own brother because of some BS religious feelings of some old boomers. No Xmas present for him for the next 10 years to come. Wish you all the best, mate. And one more comment from the witchy one who says, yeah, your brother is a dick. Sorry, but you are his brother. He chose to let his wife's family dictate that his brother couldn't come to his wedding because his brother has a boyfriend. Your parents made a big deal about you not being there because they see how it's going to go in the future, with him making them choose between you and him, and they're not okay with that, and rightfully so. You are their family. They don't care who you are with, and they refuse to let you be shunned because of it. If you want to mend fences with your brother, that you are his brother and you love him, but that you are also bi and dating a man, and that's not about to change. So he has to choose between shunning you to make his in-laws happy or accepting you to make your family happy. What he does is up to him. So OP does come in with an update and says, I didn't think I'd give an update, but many interesting things happened. So after my brother's visit, him and his wife went to a honeymoon, and the way the wedding party went might have been even worse than I imagined. What happens now is incredible. When I said in the main post that two fronts had formed, I only meant that metaphorically, of course, but it's no longer that. While nothing much interesting happened in the first 2 days afterwards, the terror started as soon as my brother and his wife went on their honeymoon. My mum and dad visited me and told me how the wedding party escalated and they were so close to physical violence. I thought it was funny at first, but this truly bothers me. I also want to point that you did a great job convincing me it's not my fault, but hearing my parents' side still give me a bad feeling in my stomach. However, like I said, the terror started shortly after they went to their honeymoon. And when I say terror, I mean that my sister-in-law's family found both my Facebook and Instagram account and started spamming me with hateful messages. I received insults and hateful messages from various different accounts who all had one thing in common. They all had somewhat of a Christian theme, and all of them had the same last name. So it wasn't hard to find out whose account it was. Mainly because I don't know my sister-in-law's family at all. I only know her, and I know her parents were homophobic Christians. But whatever. They not only started attacking me, they also found the account of my boyfriend over my account because we are linked as a couple, and started sending him the same messages. The messages contained, on one side, typical bigot stuff like, you're burning in hell for your sins. One even called me and my boyfriend two devils in disguise. The other side were just blatant insults. You get the idea. I called my parents and told them what they were doing. Then I sent a text message to my brother with screenshots of the messages his wife's family sent me, to which he replied that I shouldn't disturb him with that during his honeymoon, as I already destroyed the wedding party. I couldn't believe it. It was just like them. He did send me an apology after my mum told me she called him, but none of this is the main reason I'm giving you this update early. Because I got a call this morning from an unknown number. I hesitated because I thought it was one of them. And I was right, but it was none of the people who insulted me. I heard a woman's voice who introduced herself as the half-sister of my brother's wife. She said it didn't go unnoticed what her family was doing, and she wanted to apologize for them. I told her I'm not going to tell anyone in her family about this, and that I don't blame her for her family's actions. She thanked me and hung up. I don't know why, but I have a feeling she only did this to protect her family from being reported. My mother wrote to me earlier that she wants to report the insults and the harassment of these people, and that she demands for my brother to divorce his wife or she will disinherit him from her will, because that's not how she raised him. A little radical in my opinion, but I understand where she's coming from. The entire thing escalated so much it's unbelievable. Thank you all for the support in my first post. And there was a lot of comments afterwards talking to OP saying, it sounds like you're taking things too lightly. If anything, these people are literally harassing you and your boyfriend, and they're escalating the situation, and it deserves to be called out. But what do you guys make of this situation? As I said, I'll keep an eye out for updates on this one, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from Cute University 1043 from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Does have an update as well, titled Am I the Arsehole for being uncomfortable with my boyfriend's friend calling me a bitch? For context, I am a 31 female living with my boyfriend Mike, who is 34. Mike has a friend Victor who comes over a lot. Yesterday, Victor came over to watch baseball with Mike. Victor asked me to pass him a beer, so I passed one over, but I dropped it. It didn't crack open or anything, but he said, "Nice one, bitch." I was honestly shocked and said, "Excuse me?" He started laughing and Mike joined in. I was very uncomfortable and genuinely didn't know what to say. I told Victor that I didn't appreciate him calling me a bitch. He got super defensive and said he was saying it jokingly. I said it doesn't matter how you were saying it, I am uncomfortable. He got very huffy and said I was just being sensitive. And then he said, and you're probably going to accuse me of being sexist now, aren't you? Can't say anything these days. This was wild because A, I didn't say anything about sexism, and B, what do you mean, can't say anything? Can't call women bitches unsolicited anymore. What even was his point here? Mike hadn't said anything during this interaction until I called him out. I asked why he wasn't defending me and he said, I don't know babe, you're being a bit dramatic. At this point I'd had enough, so I told them to leave and they went to Victor's to watch the game. Up until this point I thought I was in the right until Mike texted me angrily. He said I'd embarrassed him in front of a friend by being so melodramatic and like a social justice warrior. He said Victor didn't mean any harm. And it was like how my friends call me bitch lovingly/jokingly. He also said it was uncalled for me to kick him and Victor out of the house when Mike literally lives there. I said it's completely different because my friends make sure I'm okay with it and don't say it in a derogatory manner like Victor did. Plus, my friends are wonderful women who have supported me for years, not some friend of my boyfriend's who I barely know. I was supposed to just let myself be disrespected in my own home. He called me annoying again and then turned notifications off. He slept over last night. Victor lives alone and hasn't come home yet. I think I might be the arsehole because it's true that my friends call me bitch, and although it's different as I said above, it's possible that it confused Victor and made him think that it was okay. I also didn't mean to make Victor uncomfortable / put him in the hot seat as a guest in my house. Am I the arsehole? Now look, in this hypothetical situation where you said that he might think it's okay because some of your friends do this or whatever. As soon as you turned round and said excuse me and that you was very uncomfortable with it, the thing to have said was, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it in that way. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable and apologize profusely for it. That's all you had to do. But instead, doubled down, tried to turn it around on you, called you sensitive, and then says that you're probably going to accuse me of being sexist now, aren't you? Absolutely, you were right to kick him out of the house, and your boyfriend for not backing you up in that situation is wild. The fact that he still left with Victor to go and continue watching a game after what just happened says a lot to me. Calls you dramatic, texts you later on saying that you embarrassed him. Holy shit, I think that would be a deal breaker for me. But some of the comments says, can you stay anywhere else for the time being or break up with him and live elsewhere? Opie says, I can move in with my sister and her girlfriend if needed. I'm seriously considering it after this. Thanks for your input. Next comment says, it may have started as a joke, but as soon as you were uncomfortable, they should have apologized. Opie says that's a good point. I was excusing him by thinking maybe he heard my friend calling me it and thought it was fine. But once I said it wasn't, he should have just said, oh sorry, I heard friends say it so I thought it was alright. Thanks for the help. Yeah, if he had just said sorry, won't do it again, I would have been okay with it. And that would have been the end. But he got so unnecessarily defensive and weird. Opie then edits the post and says, oh my god, I was not expecting this to blow up like it did. I'm so incredibly grateful for every single one of you who commented and I feel so supported. It's impossible for me to respond to everyone, but know that I'm reading your comments and I'm so thankful. I'm working things out right now, but I am safe. Thank you so much for the concern. I'll add a longer explanation and update later today when everything gets settled. A lot has happened since I made this post, so I want to be able to update properly. Much love to you all. I'm so overwhelmed with your kindness. The next day, Opie updates and says, this will probably be my final update considering the thread is now locked, which is sad. Firstly, thank you all so much for all the support. It means so much to me. I'm so overwhelmed reading all the comments telling me that I deserve better, that I haven't wasted my time with Mike, that I'm worth more. It truly means the world. Also, thanks for all the lovely PMs I've been receiving. Reading these comments have made me realize that I'm still young and have my life ahead of me, and I'm sure I don't want to spend it with a man like Mike, especially after what happened today. Today has been wild. To start, Mike didn't come home last night, meaning he has now spent 2 nights over there instead of confronting the issue like a mature adult. He didn't even text me to let me know that he was alive, so I text him saying that I didn't appreciate at all what had happened and that we should talk about it if there is any chance of saving this relationship. He sent me these wild paragraphs that basically said, "Fine, leave me. Good luck finding someone else who want to fuck you. You'll never find another man because you're just an annoying crazy bitch. Victor was right. You're acting like a see you next Tuesday, etc." He basically typed an entire essay. It was pretty funny but also disturbing. I couldn't believe a man I thought I loved was saying such nasty and disrespectful things to me. I text back, "Lol, alright, have fun calling me whatever the fuck you want with Victor. I won't be around to take it, we're done." His text truly was the last straw for me because he didn't apologize or even try to talk it out. He just immediately jumped into calling me names and saying really horrible things. I took my stuff. Luckily, it wasn't much to pack because all the furniture was Mike's, and drove to my sister's, where I'm currently living with her and her girlfriend. I hope to find a permanent living arrangement soon. Once again, thank you so much for all the support. I wouldn't have had the courage to end things without the kind words and promises that things will get better, and I deserve more than this. I was scared to leave because for some reason, people seem to think that women lose their value after turning 30. Looking back, Mike made this message clear to me as well during our relationship. I felt like I was undesirable because of my age and that I was lucky to have a guy who could stand me. But reading your comments made me realize I'm still young and there's plenty of time to find someone who will treat me right. Again, I'm so incredibly grateful. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And although this came out of a negative situation, OP's going through that absolutely abusive text message, awful. I'm so glad that OP did get out of that situation and, is realizing their self-worth, is realizing that they're worth more than Mike, rising like a phoenix from the pile of dog shit that is Mike. Well done, OP. Incredibly proud of you for getting out of that situation. Much love to you. But now I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? I always like these kind of things where I always sort of imagine it as like a fog around them. I've said this before. Not all the time we get good Reddit comments, but sometimes we do. Often we do. And telling people that they're worth more. And then I picture it as this fog lifting from them and they're realizing their self-worth like that. I think that's amazing. But what do you guys think of this one? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have one more cheeky one, shall we? So our final story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Doesn't have an update from Nancy the Grape, who says, "Am I the arsehole for making a whole scene in the family table that my mum ruined my cheesecake?" Dear me. So I'm 19 female, a pastry chef. I love my sweets to be on point so you can see them on pictures. Nothing less or nothing more. My mum, 60 female, on the other hand, keeps destroying my sweets by adding so much of everything. One time I made a strawberry cake for my grandma's birthday, and she came to it to add a whole ton of whipping cream. At the end, the cake was a whole disaster. It's falling apart. Too much cream, and I yelled at her at the top of my lungs that she keeps destroying everything I make. She puts on a sad face, saying that she won't bother with me and my sweets anymore. So last weekend, we were visiting my grandma, her sister too, and I made a fruit tart and a cheesecake. I put them in the fridge and warned my mum to not touch it. When we arrived, we opened the cheesecake and apparently she has put chocolate syrup all over it, and the box/cheesecake itself was an ugly mess. At that point I had a breakdown and started yelling at her and crying, saying, "Why do you keep destroying my work? I'm so fed up with you." She kept brushing it off, saying it's not beautiful enough and it needed a better picture. I'm on my way home. I wasn't talking to her and she started yelling at me that I was an arsehole to her in front of everyone and I need to learn manners. Looking back, I could handle the situation better, but I lost my mind. On the other hand though, I don't want anyone to touch my creations. Am I the arsehole for yelling at my mum in front of everyone? Edit 1, thanks for the advice everyone. I know my behaviour wasn't right and I feel sorry for that. I tried apologising and point out very calmly my problem. Again, she brushed my point off. I sadly don't have much money from my work, so I can't move out, but I'd surely buy a small fridge. Someone said I should take my result pictures before my mum destroys them, which is another story that happened. I was once hired for a baptism. The man and I agreed on something after showing him what I can make. After making the sweet again, took pictures of it too, my mum took my pastry cream I had left over for something else. She remade the sweet the way she wanted. The man sadly didn't have a fridge, so he asked for a sweet that doesn't need fridge. My mum took the pastry cream and added cream and made it all blue. Man's kid is a daughter, by the way. My ex's boyfriend's mother sees what I see, and my mother is envious of the attention I get. My ex's boyfriend mother literally dumped her because she had enough of my mother. Edit 2. Guys, I'm a really relaxed person. I'm fine if you come and advise to add something on my sweets, but if you do it without asking me, that's when I go nuts. I understand it was completely wrong of me to yell in front of everyone, and in the past I've expressed how much I don't like what she's doing. Example once again, the rose cake I made, instead of roses, she wanted to add sprinkles all over the cake instead of the flowers. When I added the roses, she wanted to add red circles all over it. In the past, I've even cooked with my beloved grandma. She kept advising me stuff and asking if it's right to add or not. I accepted her opinion. In the end, the grandma congratulated me and had fun together eating the results with a decent image. Now, the post, majority of it was voted not the arsehole. A lot of people saying, she just shouldn't be touching your stuff. It's that simple, really. Other people saying this is a power thing, she's just showing that she has power over you and that she can do what she wants, all this kind of stuff. And I was quite surprised. There's quite a few "you're the arsehole" and "everyone sucks here" comments as well. I'm just like, I can't see it. I really can't see it. Why? She got no right to be touching this stuff that you're baking, that you're making here, your creations, and then just coming in and basically ruining it every time. And not the arsehole for me on this one, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.